All right. Hey, folks. So today I'm going to talk about running. I have been running recently. So I wanted to talk with you guys about what I've been doing and also a discussion of some of the problems which are exclusive to lifters in when it comes to beginning to run. So firstly, thanks for making it onto my channel. If you have any questions or comments, pop them down below. And if you'd like to work with me on your own strength and physique goals, there's a link in the description. So firstly, let's talk about why. Why am I starting to run? First thing is, I've never been very good at running. Even when I was younger, I was lighter, heavier, whatever. I'm not a very good runner. Both my elder brothers are very good at running. I remember when we were younger, one of my brothers, he did a half marathon the day after he'd gone out for a drink, and he'd done no training for it. Madness. They could just run. I've never been very good at running for whatever reason. More than likely because I've always lifted weights. So alongside running, I've always done some form of heavy leg training. So as a result, it's quite a lot for the knees to adapt to. Secondly, I like the idea of being able to move better. I like the idea of being able to move better, move faster. It's just mastery of self, you know. I also like the level of physical resilience in your entire body that running demonstrates. If you could just move around for a lot of time very fast, it's generally going to make everyday life a bit easier. And also, it's a time-efficient way to get your steps up. It's a nice, easy way of getting steps up. I can walk out my house, go run, great, no problem. Get my steps up. Within half an hour to an hour, I can clock 10,000 steps dead easy. So it's a time-efficient way of getting steps up. It's not something I'm doing really for health. My health is fine. I'm getting a lot of health benefits from lifting weights. I always have done. So not that per se, but there are specific reasons. I just think it'd be kind of cool to be able to run. So next up. Now, I want to look at some problems occurring with running, and this is really the crux of the video. What are the exclusive problems to lifters that come about when starting to run? Firstly, problems occurring in general. Knee and ankle pain is quite common, knee particularly, mostly because there is a repetitive stress which occurs from running. Now, if the stress of running is more than your body can adapt to, or you've not adapted to it previously, or you are continuing to do heavy leg work during the course of the week, which you will be doing if you're watching my channel, then a lot of times that stress can be too much to recover from. And it goes from being what should be a therapeutic stress of just movement to being more stress than the knee can handle in a given week. And then you start to get soreness. And that's when problems occur. You start to get demotivated, and then ultimately you stop. And you'll go back to what you like to do in the first place, which was just lift weights, which is fine. But in this video, we're trying to talk about how to incorporate running for meatheads. So the problems exclusive with lifters are that in general, we tend to be heavier. Even the smallest of us tends to be a little bit heavier. So, and I class heavy as something as 25 or plus BMI. In this situation, it doesn't really matter about your level of muscle mass compared to level of fat. It's just strictly weight. So most lifters tend to be on the heavier side, regardless of whether they're lean or not. Secondly, another problem may well be if you're part of the older crowd. And in the older crowd, in this circumstance, is over 35. And if you're starting running at that time, like I am, then that can be one more factor which can result in more knee pain or more back pain or ankle pain. Thirdly, if you're well trained, if you're already stressing your muscles and your ligaments and your joints on a weekly basis to the point where that's as much as you can do per week, to add extra joint stress on top is always going to be an issue. So that's another problem exclusive to lifters. And finally, poor running form. Most lifters are quite used to squatting, deadlifting, all that kind of stuff, and they have reasonable form there. But put them on a jogging track, they have all the muscles of somebody who is a well-trained athlete, but the form tends to be less than great. So that's another problem which can contribute to knee pain exclusive to lifters. So there are a number of things which can cause additional problems for lifters than just for regular people beginning running. So next is if we can start to look at ways around these problems by considering the recovery systems that are involved in running. So firstly, we've got the heart and the cardiovascular system. They tend to recover lightning fast. All right. Muscles also recover lightning fast. If you go for a jog and your legs are hurting or your calves are hurting, they'll pretty much be fine within a day or two. Next, we have the ligaments and the joints. they tend to take the most hammering. And if any of you guys remember my discussion on how to do full body routines, this is kind of how I see things there as well. Look at the recovery systems. What are we stressing? How are we stressing it? And that's how we can figure out a way around this. Now, we know from the research that we need at least 3 cardiovascular sessions a week to see definite improvement past the beginner stage. As a beginner, of course, you can do what you like, but past the beginner stage, you need at least 3 cardiovascular sessions a week to see continuous improvement from where you were previously. So we've got these recovery systems, some which recover very fast, others which recover very slow. And remember, the problems with the lifter are they are exacerbated because you're lifting as well. So at this point, you might just say to me, well, okay, Faz, what about I just run and then when I get tired, I'll just deload. Deloads for running work less effectively. The reason is that your cardiovascular system detrains far more rapidly than your muscles or your strength. So we know from the research that you need twice a week weekly cardio to maintain cardiovascular strength or fitness, and 3 times a week to improve. This much is clear. And most runners that I speak to will say that, yeah, at least 3 times a week is what we need to do to improve past the beginner stage. All right, so the solution is then, if you are doing some form of running 3 times a week, the first session is going to be a run. Second 2 could be some form of cardiovascular training, which uses the same interval, duration, and time, but doesn't actually stress the same joints. So load your body up in a different way, similar to what you do with the heavy, light, medium system, where the heavy day is your big, wham, joint stress day, followed by a light day, which is a recovery day, then a medium day, which is something in between. And they all stress the muscles almost equally, but they have different stresses on the ligaments and the joints, which allows you to do a lot more work during the course of the week. In a similar way, we do that with running as well. So if you need 3 cardiovascular sessions a week to improve your running, first one should be a run. And that's going to stress your ligaments, your joints, which will take a while to recover alongside your leg training or whatever else you're doing during the course of the week. So then your next 2 sessions could be using the same progression as you are with your first session, but with some type of high intensity interval training that you might do in the gym with less knee stress. Now, next is I'm going to talk to you about a running plan that you can implement, which can work alongside these suggestions. So phase 1, which is 4 weeks, this is going to be 30 minutes total. And this is someone really a rank beginner. Okay. So week 1 would be a 1-minute run followed by a 4-minute walk. And that's 5 minutes in total. Repeat that 6 times to equal your 30 minutes. Week 2 would be 2-minute run, 3-minute walk, then 3-minute run, 2-minute walk, 4-minute run, 1-minute walk. You get the idea. Okay. So eventually you're running almost the entire 30 minutes. So that is phase 1. That's 30 minutes total. Now, the next phase is 40 minutes total. So we've increased the entire duration and we're looking at 4 blocks of 10 minutes. So every 10-minute block in the week 1 would be a 6-minute run, 4-minute walk, and then the running would slowly increase as the walking decreases. I'll just make that a little bit bigger for you guys to see. So that is phase 2. Phase 3 is then 45 minutes total, which is 3 blocks of 15 minutes. Week 1 is 12 minutes running, 3 minutes walk. Week 2, increased running, less walking. Week 3, 14 minutes running and 1-minute walking. Total of 3 times is 45 minutes. Then we have the final phase to get us up to an hour, which is 60 minutes total, 3 blocks of 20 minutes, 70 minutes run, 3 minutes walk, 19 minutes run, 2 minutes walk. Repeat that 3 times. And the final week should be just a 60-minute run. Now, bearing in mind what I said at the beginning of the video about how to mix up your training, each of these blocks has a frequency of 3 times a week because you need 3 cardiovascular training sessions to improve. However, the point is that you can mix up what you do in sessions 2 and potentially 3 if you're not willing to run because it's providing too much stress on the joints for you to recover. You've still got to stress the cardiovascular system in the same way. So that's when I would suggest doing some form of high intensity interval training to support your runs. So use the same interval frequency, use the same duration, but do something else which is going to stress your joints in a different way And that way you can still continue to build up, and every session 1 you can do a long run and improve your primary modality, but session 2 and session 3 can be a range of different high intensity interval training with the same intervals and duration for that week, so that you're able to continue your long progression of running for eventually an hour. So that is a bit of help for you guys. I'm currently running this myself, and I'm getting better doing so. With a lack of joint stress, I'm able to run better and better every week, and it's a really great way of doing things. And if you just apply some of the simple rules of load management, as you would, just like you would do with bodybuilding or lifting for general, to running, you get the same result. So it's a good way of doing things. Right, folks, thanks for that.